Good afternoon. Welcome to Handmade by Julia Quinn. I'm coming on quickly to show you this card that I made yesterday at a workshop with a bunch of really amazingly talented ladies, and it features the Bottled Happiness stamp set with the gorgeous bottle, and also combines it with the Oceanfront stamp set with all of these lovely background stamps. This card was inspired by the incredibly talented Linda Dalkey. Look her up. She's an Australian demonstrator who does really great watercolouring and water painting techniques. And I know it's August and we've just finished World Watercolour Month, but I wanted to share this card because I thought it was so lovely. So what I'm using for my card is just some basic vanilla for the background, but to do the actual watercolouring I'm using shimmery white cardstock. I don't know whether you can see the sparkle in this cardstock or not. It's a bit hard to see, but it is great for watercolouring because it has a much more polished surface and you have more time to move colour around with water, and it doesn't absorb straight or soak straight into the cardstock. So it gives you much easier and much more successful results. So I've got two pieces here, one for the front of my card and one to repeat the imagery in the side of the card. So with the Oceanfront stamp set, I'm using this particular shape here. So there's a couple of splodgy ones. There's a small skinny one with an angle on it, and then a fairly squarish looking shape there. And I'm going to use this one to create the ocean and give you the illusion of waves with it. And I'm using it with Pacific Point ink. I'm just going to ink up my stamp there and stamp it twice across my page, just lining up the top of the horizon line there, like that. Okay, so that's my ocean to begin with. I'll clean off my stamp here and close up my Pacific Point because that's the last time I need that. And then I'm going to use So Saffron. Hello anyone who's come to watch and see this great card come to life. I hope you get some great ideas. So I'm going to use exactly the same stamp that I used before with So Saffron to create my sandy beach. All right, it doesn't matter if you overlay it because sand is a bit like that. You have, actually while I've got my So Saffron, I'll do a couple of bits down the bottom of my inside piece of cardstock. Okay, so there's my So Saffron complete. And then for the sky, I'm going to use Balmy Blue, and I'll change out my stamp there. I'll put this one away and put this large piece on, and then stamp the sky for inside my card here, just twice across there. And then for the front of my card, stamp some Balmy Blue and a bit more on the top. All right, so that's all the basic stamping done, but now the magic begins. When you add water to this, it just comes to life. The most obvious one to see is the Pacific Point because it's such a beautiful, dark, intense colour. When you add water, it blends the stamped images, creates lovely watercolour. So it looks like you've painted it, but in real actual fact, you've stamped it first and then added water later. So I'm just going to clean off my brush there, squeeze it out until it runs clear, and add some water to my sky. Drag that colour up the top, and the atmospheric sky in my image. There we go. And clean my brush again and add a little bit of water to my sand. Now most of the sand doesn't really matter because we're going to add some rocks and details to the sand to create the scene for our Bottled Happiness stamp set. There we go, and a little bit for the sky here. The other thing is, when you've already got your stamped image, you can also add a little bit of ink to add. I'll just show you what I mean. So if I add my ink pad to a little bit on the edge of my block, which is a non-porous surface, and pick up that ink, and then I can just continue colouring like that. I can add a little bit more over here as well, just because I didn't stamp it very deeply in the colours. Okay, that, I think that should do. And now I'll just set that aside to dry for a bit, and while that's drying, I will stamp from my Bottled Happiness stamp set, this awesome bottle, and create my bottle by the beach. I'm going to use some crumb cake ink. Hello there, Diana. Hello, Lynette. It's lovely to see you both. Oh, lovely that you're here with me. Okay, I'm just going to stamp off my bottle a bit and stamp one there, and stamp off my bottle from the crumb cake and stamp it again there. Okay, so that's my bottles complete. And then, because this is a message in the bottle, I'm going to use the message in the bottle stamp on one of my bottles, and I'll use some early espresso, I think, so this shows up great contrast to the crumb cake. Okay, so sending a little message straight over the top of my bottle there. Lovely. And then this one is for inside the card. I'm going to stamp here, sending cheer. All right. Now with my vintage bottle punch, which works exactly with the stamp set, I'll punch out my two bottles. And also my sending cheer, I'm going to punch that there because that gives me exactly the correct width of my greeting to stick as a label onto my other bottle for inside the card. Okay, there you go, sending cheer. I'll just stick that onto my bottle here. And to give the bottles, as you can see, a far more lifelike finish. Okay. Oh, oh wow. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm a bit of a klutz, aren't I? That's not the first time I've done that. Everybody's good? I'm so sorry that that happened. Oh my goodness. I've got to be so much more careful. Okay. I'm just using a bit of soft suede and my blending brush. I'm just going to blend right on the sides, each side of the bottle, and a little bit on the neck, to give the illusion of the bottle being more rounded. Can you see how that looks a little bit more rounded than this one? Okay, a little bit of soft suede just on the edge there. 1 and 2. There we go. A little bit more on this side, just to give it that shadow on either side. Oh, actually, while I've got my soft suede out, these are dry now, I'm going to stamp some rocks onto my, cover up that splodge from my finger. Rock over this side, and a bit of a rock there. And for the front of my card, rocks. I might double stamp that one, give it a bit more depth. Beauty of the photopolymer is that you can see exactly where you've stamped, and on the other side I'll use this other rock image, 1, 2, and I'm also going to stamp, have I got it out? Maybe I don't. The reeds. I've lost my, oh here it is, over here. The reed stamp. Just a little bit of vegetation next to the beach. I love this reed stamp. I think it's also another brilliant way to hide any errors and mistakes. Now my bottle's going to sit about there on that rock. So I'm just going to stamp a couple of little reeds on top of that one. All right, and then this one, do I need to add any reeds to this one? This is going to be inside my card. If I put reeds here, then I can put a couple there. There we go. I believe that's all my stamping done, and now it's just up to assembling my card. Let me get everything out of the way so we can see what we're up to. Okay, before I assemble my card, I've got some crumb cake baker's twine, which is from the Essentials baker's twine packet, which includes white, black, vanilla, crumb cake, I think smoky slate as well. So really useful colours that you can use for lots of different occasions. Okay, I've put a little bit of glue on the back of the neck of my bottle there to help me hold it in place as I tie my baker's twine around, and then I'm going to put a knot right in the end of my, so it looks like the bottle has a little string hanging off. I'll just trim that off. Okay, let's put the card together, shall we? Bring in my soft suede backing sheet. We'll do the inside of the card first. One there, and then the inside of the card. And just inside there. And my little bottle here. 1, 2. And just going to put that, whoops. There we go, standing on that rock. And then on the front of my card, adding the shimmery white onto the front of my soft suede, which is cut just a tiny little bit bigger. And then I'm going to add some dimensionals on the back of that to make it stand up a little bit from the front of the card. One inside. There we go. And did I get that one off? Yes, I did. Okay, pop that on the front of the card. Like that. And last of all, we'll add our little bottle. Message in a bottle. But basically what I most wanted to show with this card was this awesome technique of just adding water to your stamped image on your shimmery white cardstock. There you go. I hope you'll give that one a try. It's a great one to add to your repertoire for watercolouring. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited that you could be here too. Thanks, Lynette. Bye-bye now.